Oh, this is me. Hi. Today is Friday, April 7th, 2017. My name is Eric Striffler, and I'm going to attempt to answer 10 of your questions in 10 of my minutes. Let's start the clock.
Reese on Facebook says, what does it take for a movie to get you wanting to make a full review of it in the new format, as opposed to just doing a post-trailer reaction?
That's a good question. Basically, it's just something that I feel when I leave the movie theater, I guess. There's certain... Actually, that's not true. There's certain movies I know ahead of time I'm going to want to talk about. Like, Logan, I knew I was going to want to talk about. In fact, I had my Logan review planned because I did my X-Men Origins Wolverine review, like 8 years ago, and I knew exactly what that was going to be. I knew how it was going to start, I knew how it was going to end, I knew I was going to make fun of myself. I just didn't know anything about Logan at the time, so I had everything else planned except for my actual review. That said, I have a couple other ones planned just because they're movies that I'm excited about, but like, there's going to be a Spider-Man Homecoming one. Come on, obviously. But otherwise, if a movie just turns out to be one that I want to make a review for, then I just will start planning after. And that's why these aren't usually coming out when the movie's out, because a lot of times I see the movie and then I know I want to make a review, and then we work on it for a week or two and it comes out 2 weeks later. So, yeah.
At Joel the Troll on Twitter says, how did you decide on the new cast members of Pity Applause? Did you know the girls beforehand, or was there some sort of auditioning process?
Thank you for asking about Pity Applause, actually. I got Pity Applause on the mind because we had a brand new episode come out this week. I think it's one of the best. If you'd like to go and check it out, I would greatly appreciate that. Leave a comment if you like it, by the way. I'd love to know what you think. But, plug over. We actually auditioned them. We did hold auditions, and we didn't just hold auditions for them. We held auditions kind of for, various bit parts that we knew we needed to fill. So a lot of the people that you might see in, episodes, starting from episode, I want to say, I think starting from maybe the Golden Rule, in season 1 of Pity Applause. Those were that was a guy that auditioned for the group and one of his buddies, and then another one of our buddies. So it was like, that was, I think, where the first person that auditioned popped into the mix there. But we've had a lot of people since then, and then obviously Jesse, Moyer, and Nugent were our favorites that we wanted to join us. And yeah. So it was an audition process, and I will say this, it is really weird because now I'm friends with them, and it's really weird to consider the idea that I auditioned my friends.
Oldman on Facebook says, in your opinion, what's the difference between a bad movie and a movie that's universally loved but you dislike? Is it the same thing technically?
The difference between a bad movie and a movie that's universally loved that I dislike? What was the second part of that?
Is it the same thing technically?
A movie that I love that is generally disliked? I feel like dyslexic about this. Wait, say it one more time.
In your opinion, what's the difference between a movie that's bad and a movie that other people tend to like but you don't like? Is it the same thing? Can you call a movie bad?
Oh, yeah, sure. I think a bad movie's a bad movie, and a movie I don't like is a movie I don't like. I think that's completely separate. Not completely separate, I mean, there's plenty of crossover, but those are two very different things. I can acknowledge easily when there's like, I didn't like this movie, but I understand. Like, even La La Land, I didn't care for it as much. I understand why a lot of other people did, but I just personally didn't care for it as much. I certainly don't think it's a bad movie. Then there's some movies where it's like, this I think is a bad movie, and I don't get how you liked it. So I would say that they're not the same. They could be exclusive, or there could be some crossover little Venn diagram action going on.
At Doanel on Twitter says, who is a YouTuber you're watching consistently right now?
I don't miss a daily vlog from, the very first person I ever subscribed to on YouTube is Corey Williams, Mr. Safety at SMP Films. At SMP Films, I guess is his Twitter. I don't know why I said at. I'm just so used to that these days. SMP Films. And he does a daily vlog now with his family, and I am obsessed with his daughter. I love babies, just to put that out there. I love babies, and his daughter is like the perfect image of a cute baby. She is adorable, and her name is Chell, and it's what you think she's named after. So, of course, I'm obsessed. I'm gonna go with him. I haven't missed an episode. There's some others, but I haven't missed an episode recently.
Colin on Facebook asks, how do you think people will look at films from the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 20 years?
I mean, well, that's going to completely depend on where we're at in movies in 20 years with those kind of movies. If in 20 years, if they're rebooting everything, that's going to be very different than if. So, like, are we going to be completely sick and tired of them and look back at these days as the glory days? Are they going to be better somehow in the future? I don't know how that would be necessarily, but. Or the other thing, and I said this in my Logan review, are they going to like reboot them and do them like exactly like the comics? Not honestly, Marvel's pretty good with that though. But if they do like a more faithful adaptation for all these guys, and then we look back at these, like, what were they thinking? Like when I think of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, I think those are my favorite iteration of Spider-Man. I personally like that he doesn't have the web shooters. That's just me. I always preferred that it was something that was just a part of his powers that he got. But, whatever. I'm more of the movie guy than the comic guy, obviously. But that said, you could look at, like, the upcoming Spider-Man, and, I know he's got, like, the little web things, right? The little web cape, whatever the fuck you call it. So someone, I don't give a shit about that. I don't care at all about that. But someone could be like, this is, like, true to the comics, finally. I hate that Sam Raimi garbage, So I feel like more than anything, it'll just be, like, changes in how faithful they are to the movies, to the comics, and maybe in the future, 20 years from now, they're not faithful at all, and people like that better. Either way, I think that's what's really going to matter. That's what's going to determine how we look at these movies.
Lindsay on Facebook asks, if you could live anywhere in the world aside from NYC, where would you live?
St. Louis. Just kidding, maybe. I already lived in St. Louis, briefly. St. Louis, I don't know, don't ask me why. But and I don't know, I did just get Les Mis in my head when I said don't ask me. I'm just going to put that out there. But I love St. Louis. I love it. I also, you know what, I will say, I also thought when I visited Barcelona that I could live in Barcelona. So I like to give that a go.
God. At Connor Cade on Twitter asks, when do you think superhero fatigue will hit Hollywood and the mass public? And do you think it's already begun?
Good, yeah, because yes, yes, absolutely, it's already begun. Are you kidding me? We are now in like a time where a big budget superhero movie comes out and people are indifferent. Are you kidding me? Like X-Men Apocalypse, that was like the epitome of what you're asking. I didn't even see it. I didn't even see the whole thing. I thought it was so boring, and I have some friends that are like, I couldn't even get through it. Apparently, it's just boring. That is literally. Your superhero movie could be bad. You can't say... No, I guess you could say that Fantastic Four is boring, like the newer Fantastic Four. I don't think so, but I feel like that's not what you would say about it. I think boring is the worst thing a superhero movie could possibly be. It seems so easy to not do that, but I think we're hitting that if people can be bored of a new X-Men movie. That's insane.
Eric on Facebook asks, fuck, marry, kill. Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
Fuck, marry, kill, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Fuck the PS4. Marry the Nintendo Switch, kill the Xbox One. No explanation.
Dylan Grubby on Reddit asks, been watching your videos for almost 10 years. What is the piece of work you are most proud of?
First thing that comes to mind is Colorblind, a film I made years ago called Colorblind. I don't know why. That's still probably like my favorite thing I've done. Although, I mean, I'm proud of so many things, like the Hot Girlfriend series. I'm also proud of because that shows that I can watch that back and be like, oh wow, you can see my growth technically, I guess, and like creatively through that. I think like the third one is a pretty good example of how we really took it to the next level. For what it's worth at that time. Like I look back also and I'm like, Jesus, I could have done this better, but it's fun. Colorblind always stands out as my favorite thing that I've done. And I was thinking, by the way, it's kind of interesting that the reviews I'm doing now, I think there's going to be enough crossover very soon where they should be on Eric Striffler vids. Like, I feel like I'm going to make something that definitely would almost make more sense over there because it's like emotional or something, but whatever. Yeah.
Last question. Hugo on Facebook asks, Eric, you're an inspiration. How can I make my trash videos better?
I don't fucking know, man. Why are they trash? I don't know. If you're talking technically, I think I've said this before, audio, definitely make sure your audio is good. The video, it has to be good, but the audio almost needs to be better. Like, that's more important, I think, in some cases. I don't know. the quality, as long as the quality's good, I wouldn't worry too much about like lighting and stuff like that. Really, you know what? If you're just using your friends and their acting's not great, that's going to be a huge thing for you. I know it's difficult because they're your friends and you're just making films with them, but that's always like a big thing if the acting's not good.
That means you're done.
I finished, right? So that's the closest I guess I've come to not finishing. Thank you very much to everyone that asked a question. Thank you very much for checking this out. If you'd like to see any more of my videos, you can click around here to see reviews or post-movie trailer reactions, etc. Also, you can click right here to subscribe. Make sure you never miss a new video when I post. And you can follow me on Twitter @Striffleric. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much for watching, and that's pretty much it.